Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is another video on the Datsun. The radiator managed to spring a leak roughly around this area. I don't know where, I just know that it's wet everywhere. You can already tell there's a little bit of coolant here, but down here you can see where no coolant has been and where coolant has been, because it's drawing on all of the parts and it's giving it this weird, like, pale orange almost. I'm not even sure what color that would be. But I just know it's annoying because now, like, look, that's what it should look like. That's what it does look like. There's some right there. I don't know. It might be up higher. Anyway, it's running all the way down the fan shroud. And there's a little puddle of it. I don't know if I can actually get a camera shot of it. In the bottom of the fan shroud where it's shiny there. That's where a lot of it is just sitting. It's not even drying up, it's just sitting now. Belt's also loose. The only reason I noticed this is because the temp gauge was acting a little weird the other day. It said it was overheating, and then 2 seconds later it was normal. So I decided to look at it and found out it's leaking more than it used to. And I topped it up with water because I knew I was going to have to take this out anyways. So the goal for this video is to get the radiator out, patched up, and hopefully not leaking anymore. So I'm going to start by draining all the fluid out first. I just started draining the radiator. There's a little petcock down here, very easy to reach, very convenient. As you can see, it's dripping. I got a slow drip going. I just have a bucket under this, so I have to be careful because I don't know if it's big enough. So, I'll be back when I'm done draining all of that out. The coolant is almost done draining out from what it's doing there. I misjudged a little about how much adding air to the equation, or what that would do. It shot all the way back there and started leaking out over this way. But I managed to even it out with the cover. I let in a little bit of air and it's fine. Where's my light? Let me show you. There's still coolant. Like a lot of coolant. I've never done this before, so that might just be a little top layer. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm gonna start taking off the hoses and random accessories like fan shroud, so be back when that stuff's off. I got almost everything off. The fan shroud's sitting over there. You can see where the puddle's been sitting there for a while. It's still a little bit in there. Yeah, it's not what coolant should look like. One of the radiator tubes or hoses right there, and I can't get the other one off, so I'm just gonna pull the 4 bolts off of the radiator and then see if I can just pull it out and pry that off. So be back when the radiator's out. The radiator's out. I managed to get that hose off. It looks so different now the radiator's not there. And the lower alternator bracket broke because I don't know if you can see it well, but that sound is from it hitting part of the steering. But radiator's out. Looks pretty good. It's copper, like all of this stuff, that's literally just from the coolant. It's just clean metal underneath. So I think my next plan of action is going to wash all of that off, and probably that as well. Then I can get to work at finding where the crack is. The radiator has been washed and flushed out, and I also cleaned the fan shroud. It's over there in front of the truck. So, it's still a little bit wet. I blew it off the air compressor too. And now the crack is somewhere up here where all this pale orange color is. I don't know if I can even get my camera down low enough. There's a little crack. Well, there's a divot right there, and right there too is what I think is a crack. I can't really see it the best either, so I don't know exactly where it's coming from. It's right around here. So maybe that one, but it might be somewhere in between here. Anyway, I think the best action I can do with this is solder up all of this by just laying one line, and hopefully I'm just going to cover like 3 inches with solder, and hopefully the hole is under there. So I'll do that tomorrow. It's the next day, and last night I got all of my stuff for soldering ready. I got some flux paste, some solder, and I have a lot more if I need it. My lighter for the bigger lighter, and last night I was digging around. I found a soldering tip, or whatever you'd call this. I'm not actually sure what you'd call it, but it's a really neat design. I just had to unscrew it. Of course it's stuck now. Anyway, whatever. All you have to do is you just have to turn the propane on, light it up, and that'll heat up really fast. So I'm just going to start soldering, and hopefully I will just be able to lay a line right along here and cover up the hole. It's a few hours later, but I managed to solder it up completely. I'm pretty happy with it. And I also pressure tested it. I covered off that hole and that hole. I put my hand over this one, and I blew into here, and it held all of the pressure I could blow into it. So I think it should be good. And now, next step is putting it all the way back into the front again with all of the rusted hardware. I might clean up a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with this, so I'll be back when a few parts are back in. Everything is back together. Got everything attached again. Little performance bottles back in. Fan shroud, radiator, everything's bolted down. Whatever that's doing in the ground over here. So the last step is to put coolant back into this. So I'm going to go grab the coolant from the other shed, and I'll be back when it's all filled up. That's what the old coolant looks like. That is like a greenish brown almost. I'm not sure, but that's what came out a while ago. This is the new stuff. I found like 5 of these out in the back shed unopened. So that's good. Radiator is full. This is like a reddish color. I think there's some into the bottle. I put a little bit too much, which is why it's wet all along here. But other than that, everything is fine. I saw it leaking from here earlier, but it was perfectly fine after I just let it warm up. I think it was just the hose that just had to warm up, become soft, and seal it. But I think that marks the end for the radiator. I've been waiting to do this for quite some time, so it's nice to see that it's finally fixed. And I did take this on a little test drive just to make sure there was enough coolant in it. And it was running cooler than it usually does, so very happy with how it turned out. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.